Hello, welcome to another episode of Just Make Game. My name is Michael, and this is Just Make Game, another episode of it. So this video is going to be a little bit different than what you normally see from us for our sort of monthly videos here. What's going to happen is Haley's going to do a sort of quick summary of what we got up to this month, and then I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A session with some of the most common questions that I get asked via Facebook, YouTube comments, and especially email. Yeah.
So here's what we did this month. At the beginning of the month, we recorded, edited, and uploaded episode 9 of Just Make Game. And then we did our taxes. Super fun. Now, really, taxes are really boring, but they're a super important part of making games and running a business. So you have to do some boring stuff sometime, and taxes is one of them. Mike's sister April came to stay with us for a bit over a week, and we took that time off so we could just spend time with her and hang out because we don't get to see her as often as we like. After April left, we packed up and headed off to Swordcraft Quest with about 600 other LARPers, and we had an amazing week as always. Camping is really good just because you get to get away from the computers, you get to turn off your phones for a week, and you just get to actually hang out and interact with all these wonderful people that we don't get to see that often. Now, doesn't all of that sound really lovely? And yes, it was, but our brains are shit. So in the background, while we were having a very nice time, our brains were busy going,
"Why are you not working on the game?
"You're being very lazy.
You should do some work.
You're not making any progress on the game. What are you even going to put in the video this month? You're not making any progress on the game." We feel really guilty when we take time off from working on the game, and this leads to other really productive thoughts, such as,
can we even do this before our money runs out?
Is this game even going to be fun, or will it just be a big pile of trash?
why are we making something so big? We should have made something smaller.
This project is huge.
We doubt ourselves often. Making games is hard, and at times it is scary, it is stressful, but we're really grateful to have the chance to do this, and we wouldn't have it any other way. We had a really great break, and now we are well rested and motivated to get back into making Commandment. I just think it's kind of important to point out that doing this is hard, and it's not always lots of sunshine and fun.
What engine do you use? We're currently using GameMaker 1 or 1.4 or 1.46 or whatever the actual specific version is, not GameMaker 2 is the most important thing. It's the same engine that I used on Bannerman. We're not necessarily going to use it in the future. We're not tied to GameMaker or anything like that. We're just using it because it does everything that I need it to, and I've already used it to release a game already, so I know that it works and everything's fine, and I know that it can integrate in the Steamworks properly and all that sort of thing. We're using GameMaker 1 instead of 2 because 2, when I started on Commandment, was relatively new, and I didn't want to get into like beta versions and having to update the engine and things like that when I discovered there's a big massive problem with it further down the track. And it also means that I didn't have to buy it again because I already own GameMaker 1, and GameMaker 2 means I'd have to shell out for another engine. What pixel art program do you use? We use Pixel Edit for the majority of our pixel artwork. There are others out there, lots of them. Some of them are free, some of them paid, some of them really quite expensive, but we found that this works well for what we need it to do, so that's what we use. What audio programs do you use? I use Mixcraft for audio editing, for making sound effects, and for mixing music tracks together and mastering and all that sort of stuff. I will talk about this more when I actually finally get my audio editing tutorial up, so stay tuned for that. I don't know when it's coming. Eventually. Do you do game jams? Not so much anymore. It's kind of hard to dedicate time to something that isn't the game. So I'd rather not take like a week or 2 weeks or whatever off from making the game to make another game, which I'm then not going to sell. They are good though, and they do have like a good purpose to them. It's great for coming up with new ideas and prototyping and that sort of thing. I have done them in the past. 2 of my previous games, which are Inner Woods and Whitefinger, both came as a result of game jams.
Where is your video? Why aren't you uploading videos?
Just Make game videos come out monthly. They're normally released in the first week of each month, but I don't know, it can kind of shift depending on what we're doing and how busy we are and that sort of thing. Other videos are coming when I have time to make them, basically. I'm also making a game here. I'm sort of, a game developer, not really a YouTuber, so that takes precedence over everything else.
Why don't you do more videos? Where are the tutorials? You should do more tutorials.
I would love to do more tutorials. I like doing them. They're really fun. They're great. And they're also great from a YouTube perspective too, because they're all my most popular videos. And if I wanted to do YouTube sort of stuff as an actual job or something like that, then I'd definitely just be cranking them out. But it's hard to take time away from developing the game to actually work on these things. Like, they do take quite a while to do. They take at least a day or two to film and edit, and, it can be up to like a week writing them. I'm a terrible writer, so it takes me forever to write anything like that. But, I don't know, I'd like to do them. This point, I'll do them when I can. But I wouldn't expect them regularly or anything like that.
Can you promote my game for me?
No. Sorry, I can't. You'd be better off contacting a PR or marketing firm.
Can you review my game for me?
No, I can't. Sorry. I don't do that. You'd be better off contacting journalists or a influencer on YouTube who plays games similar to what you've made.
Can you code my game for me?
No, I can't. Sorry. You're better off actually learning yourself how to code. There's lots of tutorials out there these days, depending on whatever engine or code that you're working in, or you can pay someone to code it for you.
Can you do my art for me?
No, I can't. Sorry, I'm doing my own art right now, so you'll have to either learn to make it yourself. Again, there's lots of tutorials out there, or hire an artist.
I have this specific problem in my code. Can you look at this code and solve my problem for me?
No, I can't. Sorry, stop asking.
Do you want lunch?
No.
What microphone do you use?
It's a Blue Yeti. It's pretty good.
What keyboard, piano thing do you use?
It's a really shitty old Casio. I've had it for years. It is a CTK 530. It has a MIDI output. That's all I care about.
What instruments can you play?
I have lots of instruments. I like to play around with all of them, but I'm not particularly great at any of them. I'm pretty decent at the guitar, the piano, and tin whistles. I really like the mandolin as well, but I hate violins. Violins are the devil's instrument.
What is your computer setup?
My PC's a few years old now. It has an i5 4690K, a GTX 760, and 16GB RAM. It runs Windows 8.1. Haley's PC is a tiny little nuck that is plenty powerful for what we need, and it only has an SSD, not a conventional hard drive. Importantly, we also have a NAS, or server. This is what stores and backs up our working folders and all the actual work that we do on the game. We also back up to the cloud daily. Backing up is really important. Remember to back up. I mean it, back up.
How much money have you made from Bannerman?
That's a really hard question to answer. Not because it's super personal or anything like that, but it's because the game hasn't finished selling yet. So a couple of months after launch, the answer was like, oh, I've made $10,000. And then it's like, oh, I made 15, I made 20, I made 25, and so on. So it's, I understand it's an important thing to ask if you're looking at doing this sort of thing yourself and, getting an idea of how much money you can make, but there's no real concrete answer because it's still selling now. So if I give you a number, it's immediately out of date a week later, so I can't really help. We're definitely not rich, though. I'm not Notch or anything. I could make more money doing one of the old jobs that I used to do, but then I wouldn't be making games for a living, so, I'd prefer to do that.
How did you get into making games?
I've always dabbled with making games, programming, and that sort of thing when I was a kid. I decided to give it a bash full-time after we could save enough money up for it and give it a proper go. Took quite a few years to sort of work the courage up to do it, but it was worthwhile.
How much money do you make off YouTube?
Not much. Every couple of months, a $100 sort of check turns up. That's it. There's nothing major. I think, like, if you're looking at doing YouTube for a living, I think you'd need at least 10 or 20 times the subscribers that I have to make any sort of decent money. And you'd be wanting to put out videos, like, daily or close to it, but, you know, that's not really what I'm looking at doing.
How much of a cut does Steam take?
I can't answer this question because I signed an agreement with Steam. So when you sign up for Steam to actually sell your stuff, or Steam Works as they call it, you sign an agreement and it's got a bunch of stuff that you can't talk about in there. One of them is this percentage. If you Google it, you'll probably find the answer immediately. It's a percentage, and it's very much an industry standard percentage, so you'll find the same percentage over other stores and other platforms and things like that as well. Obviously mobile and smaller ones like Itch.io are different, but, you know, for the sort of big ones, it's a pretty standard sort of deal.
Do you have a Patreon?
No, we don't. But since people keep asking, I should probably look at setting that up, actually.
Alright, that's it for this month. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Just Make Game.